This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ. 1360 AM and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1230 AM, The Source. On San Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM. And Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then. All right, Houston, this is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer. I'm here with another episode, and we thank you for that, studio audience. And I will tell you that last night there was a Grammy what was the right word? Doggone it. Where's my thesaurus when I need it? A Grammy tribute to the Beach Boys. So if you didn't see it, you need to see it. And later we'll play this song, God Only Knows, because it happens to be Paul McCartney's favorite song. Who would have thought that Paul McCartney's favorite song is a Beach Boys song? It is a beautiful song, and we'll play it in its entirety at the end. And of course, everyone now knows by now that it is true, if you read it or saw it, that I am now a candidate for mayor. We're not going to talk about that. I know. Can you believe that, Houston? We're not going to talk about that today. But my goodness, people are dropping in and people are dropping out. Oh, my gosh. So stay tuned. But I have a guest here today from the great South Texas College of Law, Houston. And what's interesting is I know so many people who graduated from that law school. So we have Mr. Michael Berry, who is the president and dean. You're both.
I am, yes, sir.
Is that normal to be president and dean?
It is only when you are at an independent law school, one that is not associated with a larger university. So I am president of the business,
I see,
as well as dean of the law school itself.
I see. Well, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
And, I really mean it when I say this. South Texas has probably, if you look at the titans of the law firms in town, they all went to South Texas.
Very true.
It's true.
It is.
And I don't recall, is it Dean Treese? Was it?
Gerald Treese, yes,
okay.
Sir.
And, he like mentored everybody. What a great guy he is.
Yeah, he was indeed a very, very stalwart of the community. And
people loved him.
They did. And like so many of our faculty, they cared about our students individually. And that's what allowed our students to be prepared for the practice of law and why they're so successful when they graduate.
Well, on a personal note, my brother went there and my sister went there and my brother-in-law went there.
Well, if you want to go, we can figure out a way to make it happen.
I don't know if I'd get in. I wanted to be a lawyer, but I don't like to read or write. And so I figured out that's not good for me.
That would be an impediment.
Yeah, that would be a real problem. No, the amazing thing about South Texas, first of all, it's an urban school. It's right in the middle of downtown. In fact, it's like a stone's throw from here, our broadcast booth. It's just, 2 blocks or so. And it really is a pillar in the community. I really mean that. And one of the great things I always think about is the incredible moot court teams that you have.
Yes.
It just seems like y'all win like all the time. Why is that, or what is that?
It's a combination of a couple of things. One is our students work harder. Our students come to school prepared to put in the work, and when you put in the work, good things happen. The second thing is we really do focus on each individual. We don't try to cookie cut people. We focus on individual strengths of each of our students, and how do we make them better? How do we make sure that they are prepared? And then we have a great leadership and have for now 40 years, great individuals who work with them, and including our graduates. They come back and
so
coach. Great.
Well, but the moot court is, for someone who doesn't know, and I kind of don't know, but I kind of know, moot court is sort of like I don't want to say debate competition, but it's like a practice court. Is that right? Okay.
It is. So law schools are competitive and individuals in law school, but we don't have sports.
Yeah.
So our sport is to have competitions where you pretend that you are either in a trial court or in an appellate court giving an argument.
And so, but you're going against what traditionally people think of the greatest law schools in the country.
Absolutely.
And you're whipping them.
We do. Whether I guess
you don't have to say that word. I'll say it. You're whooping them.
Thank you. We'll take that. We are. If you want,
is whoop a word? Studio audience, is whoop a word? I don't know. But either way, you're beating them. You're beating them. I guess whoop means you're beating them good or bad.
We do, and this is something that we're very proud of. If you want to put it in football terms, we are Georgia.
Yeah,
we are the team that people across the country are a little bit nervous if they have to face in a round.
They have to, or you're like Kansas City right now.
Yes.
Nobody wants to play. Nobody wants to play Alabama either. It's just you just know they're going to be an excellent program,
and you know that there's that tradition of hard work and of effort and of diligence and of capability that is going to come through year after year.
Well, I want to talk about the 100th anniversary, but
yes, sir.
Before we do that, tell us about you. So you've been here how long? How long have you been in your position?
Just under 4 years. I arrived in Houston right before COVID.
So oh boy, well, welcome to Houston.
Thank you.
So let me ask you this. Where are you from and what's your background?
Dad was military. Grew up a little bit of everywhere. Virginia, Louisiana, Missouri, Maine, wherever he happened to be stationed. Went to college at the University of Virginia, law school at Yale, and I have lived since then in Arizona, Virginia, and San Antonio before moving here.
Well, what's your favorite place besides Houston?
All of them.
Really?
Because if you go into every city with this sense of appreciation and gratitude, you can find the good things in every city. We have been welcomed in Houston. People have been so friendly. It's been a very great place for us to be.
That's such a spiritual type feeling to hear you say that.
Yes.
If you find the good in everything, I will never be able to repeat it. But the bottom line is there is good in everything and in everybody, in every place. You just got to have your eyes open and you'll find it.
Well, I was trained, my theology degree came from the Jesuits, and the Jesuit view of the world is finding God in all things. So if you can look for that good, when you can appreciate it, then you can be thankful for it and move from there.
You sound like a spiritual person.
Very much.
Amen. So when you went to theology school, for someone who doesn't know any better, you don't have to go to theology school if you want to be in the, I don't know the right word, to practice and be a person of the cloth. You can just go to learn theology. Is that what you did, or did you think about becoming a person of the cloth?
Well, in our faith,
that's a nice way of saying I don't know the faith. I don't know if it's a priest, pastor.
In our faith, priests are not married, so that was not an option. My wife had something to say about that, but it was mainly because I wanted to have a greater knowledge and a greater understanding of the faith that I believed.
That's incredible. And so to get it was a master's
in theology.
Is that like a 1-year program, a 2-year program?
It was a 3-year program.
3-year program. Holy cow. That is pretty amazing. You have a lot of degrees.
I like to collect them. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's why when I see your name, there's like all these letters. But listen, that's phenomenal. Let's go back to the law school. 100 years.
100 years.
Can you believe it's 100 years?
It is hard to believe, and it is actually a great sense of responsibility. If you think about it, back in 1923, when the school was founded, they had no idea the creation that they were putting on.
Was it in this? How long has it been in this building downtown?
Since the 1970s. We were started in the YMCA. So if I can cast you back to 1923, Houston was only about 100,000 people at the time. So pretty small city, but growing. And there was no law school here of any repute. So the leaders of Houston said, if we're going to be a successful city, we need good legal representation. So they created a school with the partnership of the YMCA, and people who worked during the day were able to go to law school at night. What
foresight by these people.
It was.
I wish I had such foresight to say, you know what, we just need to do this and it'll be around 100 years and bear fruit with all the legal titans, coming through.
And that's the responsibility that those of us in the leadership roles of the school now recognize. Just like they built something that was lasting 100 years, we need to build the next 100 years of the school to ensure that it continues to be an institution and a stalwart in the city for the next century.
Hold that thought, because I want to get your view. I'm writing a note down. I want to come back to this. What will the school look like in 100 years? Let's talk about that in a minute. Not yet. Because what I thought was very interesting as I looked up some information about the school. And again, I know the school because my brother did it at night.
Okay.
So it took him 5 years, I think it was, because he could only go at night. He worked in the daytime.
Okay.
I believe it was 5 years. And then my sister was there full time, and her husband. Yeah, so that was just a normal cycle, 3 years.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised to see back in 1923, if you go back in time, and to think the first class had 23 people,
about 30 people,
that there were 5 women. Was there 5 women?
There were 5 women in that first.
Can you
class.
believe that?
It's
when women couldn't even, I don't even think, when was the women's, the suffrage?
1919.
Was it 19? Okay, so they just had the right to vote.
Correct.
But still, that's amazing.
In fact, we discovered recently, and I want to make sure this is actually true, that in 1923, the Attorney General apparently made some proclamation that it was okay for women to wear trousers.
Wow.
So, yes, if you think there were not many positions for women in the law,
right?
But 15% of the class was women who were trying to better themselves.
That's incredible. And when you look back at that first class, is there somewhere in the grounds a picture of that first class or anything? Is it really?
We do. We have, and also think that in 1923, another thing that was happening in Houston is the Second National Bank became the first building in Houston to get air conditioning. And that picture we have of all of these people in a classroom at night, all are in full suits.
Wow.
So I'm imagining there was a lot of sweat going on, and it wasn't just because they were nervous about being called on in class.
Yeah. Wow. What great history. So when did we move into this new building here? You said the 70s?
The 70s and the 80s is when some of the most recent, and then the library was built in 2000. So we've been expanding the footprint of the school down on 1303 San Jacinto for the last 40 years.
So how many students are in a class? Not like a classroom class. I mean like a graduating class.
So the entire school is about 950, and we have about 270, 260 in every graduating
per
class.
Graduating class.
Yep.
How does that rank? Like how big is, say, Yale? You went to Yale, I know. How big is Yale?
Yale,
that's just telling me who's on the call.
Yep, Yale is smaller. They've got about 170, 180, 200 in the class. We have about 300 in the class.
And like, what's big? Like, what does UT have or Harvard have?
Oh, some of the big programs in DC, for instance, could have 500, 600, 700 students.
Because I think you want something small, right? I mean, to really give these young people the attention that they need to be nurtured to become these great leaders.
There's a tension because you want to have a big enough school that provides all of the resources and all of the capabilities, but small enough that you still are able to have that personal care.
Interesting.
So we think we're right at that sweet spot where we have enough students to be able to provide so many student activities, so many programs, but also our faculty are there to support, and we work with our students individually.
And the students, are they, like my brother was older, he had worked,
yes,
and then he wanted to go at night, so he was working still. Are most of the kids, not kids, most of these law students, are they like that? Are they a little older for law school or no?
Well, both of the most of them are younger than we, so kids may sound appropriate. But we have.
Well, I'm young. I don't know about you. I'm young, Houston. You know I'm young. But I hear you though.
We have a portion of our students come straight through from college. And then we have a portion of our students who are in their late 20s, early 30s, 40s, 50s, who are coming back, either be second career or they've always wanted to do law school, and now it's time.
Wonderful. And does the school care one way or the other, or you just let them in? In other words, the admissions process is the admissions process regardless of what you're doing.
The admissions process is the admissions process. And there are certain capabilities and strengths that an individual has to show because we want them to be successful in law school. But we are happy to have students straight out of college, and we are happy to have those who have experience. The people who come back to us with more experience in the world add value because they have real life circumstances
to share,
they can share
in the classroom.
So when you're talking about a contract or a mortgage and people who have signed mortgages are in the room, that helps with the conversation rather than having everybody coming straight.
Very good. We have a caller already, so hang on to that. We have a caller already. Is there a Miss Connie on the phone?
Yes. Hi, Gilbert. How are you? I hope you had a great Easter.
Well, I did. You have me, Gilbert Garcia, of A Tip from Gilbert, Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer with Mr. Michael Berry, President Dean of South Texas College of Law, Houston.
Oh, great. Yes, I have a question for Mr. Berry. I just wanted to know, just because, we're such a diverse city, is your law program diverse as well? And what is it that you do that levels the playing field for everybody to be, accepted and included? And, because I know some diverse students, they come up with a disadvantage in terms of schooling. And so, like, how is your acceptance process
Thank
into
you.
the program?
Well, why don't we start with this, if you don't mind, Miss Connie? Is what are the demographic breakdown of the students?
So one
Yes.
half of our students come from diverse backgrounds.
One half.
One half.
That's
So
got to be much higher than others,
it
right?
is
That sounds high.
It is high. And one of the reasons is we are in the most diverse city in the country.
Amen.
And we are a school that largely supports this area. So we have made the commitment that we will be the most intentionally and successfully diverse law school in the country. Because
Wow.
that's the community we serve. That's the mission that we have. Diversity is actually one of the 4 pillars of our mission. And we have also, Connie, over the last couple of years, truly put an emphasis on ensuring not only do we have diverse students in our community, but that we're preparing them for success and then connecting them into the legal profession. Very fortunately, one of our alumni is a gentleman named Benny Agostal. And Mr.
I sat with him at a where was I? That children's charity. I sat with Benny. I didn't know him well, but I know him.
So
what a great guy he is.
He is a wonderful man, and he's
an alum.
He is an alum.
He's been wildly successful.
He's been very successful and very generous to the school. So he
great.
allowed us to create the Benny Agosto Jr. Diversity Center, which now has 2 individuals staffing it, and we are able to create programming for the community, as well as ensure that our students have the support they need. One of the things you were alluding to, Connie, is many students who come to law school from diverse backgrounds may be first-generation law students. So they don't have representatives in their family, role models. They may not know the various things that you need to do in law school to be successful. So we try to create that network for them through boot camps before they arrive, through support while they are in law school, and then connecting them into the community so that they can be successful afterwards as well. It is, as I said, one of the pillars of our mission. We are a mission-driven school, and is crucially important to not only the success of the law school, but of the city of Houston.
How great. Benny Agosto, I'm just giving you a shout out for all your great philanthropy, and way to go to set that up, because it can do so much great work. So Connie, what do you think? Are you ready to apply?
Yeah.
Let's go take that hill.
Yes, that is just great to hear. I'm so happy to hear that, because we do need representation that looks like ourselves, So I am so happy to hear that. Thank you so much.
Indeed. It's actually, if I can, it's important for 2 reasons. One is, in the classroom itself, it's important to have diverse backgrounds, because then there are different people asking different questions and coming with different experiences that ensure that we have a rich discussion and learning in the classroom. But it's also important when they get out into the real world as well, because many of the issues that we face in our society come from the fact that there is not representation in certain circumstances. Right now in the country, only 5% of attorneys are African American.
In the whole America?
The whole United States.
That's terrible.
5% are Hispanic.
That is terrible.
Wow.
It is, if you think about it, if you would assume that it should be somewhere in the 15, 16, 18%, it's at 5. Asians are at 2, where their population in the country is 6.
Right.
So there's right now an underrepresentation, and that has implications for how the system works.
Well, one thing too, Connie, anything else, or are we going to sign you off?
I'll sign off. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling.
Be well.
Bye-bye.
One of the things, though, is it must be also a factor is it's expensive.
Yes.
All secondary education is expensive, really. Even state schools are expensive. I mean, just education is expensive. What percent of the students are on financial aid, would you say?
About 70%.
70?
70% receive some degree of financial aid.
That's like everybody.
It is a significant portion. And
That's great. Touche.
we focus on ensuring that we are as affordable as possible. There are 110, call it, law schools across the country that are private law schools. And the cost to attend South Texas is probably in the bottom 12.
No kidding.
We really try to make sure that we are affordable, for folks, but it is still a significant investment. And we recognize that it's important to what we do to make sure that we're trying to make it as affordable as possible. In fact, anybody who would like to help sponsor scholarships, I would not be an appropriate dean if I didn't say we will be happy to take your money to support scholarships.
Well, let's talk about that. So let's say someone's listening and they say, golly, I want to get involved, I want to help. Is there a website? Is there a phone number? Or what do they do if they say, you know what, I want to give something to South Texas?
So stcl.edu is the website, and that is South Texas College of Law.edu, STCL, or send an email to me at president@stcl.edu, and I will connect you to the right people.
Amen. So let's go back to that. So how are y'all able to have so many 70%? Do you have an endowment for it, or how is it? So that sounds like a lot.
A lot of that comes from loans and assistance that the federal government provides, as well as some scholarships that we are able to provide. We do have an endowment, but it is one that I would like to grow, because if we are to truly meet the need of access to justice, we need to be able to offer more scholarships.
Are you having I don't know the right word, an endowment campaign or something right now with the 100th anniversary?
In fact, we are doing a give day on Thursday.
This Thursday?
This Thursday is our 100th anniversary, and there is a give day that we are doing, and we're trying to raise $100,000 on our 100th anniversary.
Did you hear that, Houston? $100,000. Oh, wait, now we have it on the website. So let me read that. Let's see. South Texas College of Law, years of excellence, 100 years, honoring the past, celebrating the present, building the future. I love that. So let's pretend I'm looking at this. How do I get money there? Where do I click?
Oh, goodness. I'm going to have to find it.
Does somebody has apply? No. Financial aid? No. Request info? No. Centennial? No.
Let's do this. We'll get the information for you right now, and I'll make sure it's up there.
Yeah, you know what?
Maybe
because
at the very bottom.
If we can get it in time, I might just make a contribution right now.
I will take
So
that.
let's do that. So in a minute, we'll figure that out, producers. I think that's great. So we need to raise $100,000 by Thursday or on Thursday. And you can click anywhere, you can do it. We're going to get this click, and we're going to click it together, Houston. We're going to figure it out. Going back for a second. Wait, do we have another caller? I think we have another caller. Oh, there's an Ernie. Ernie, is there an Ernie on the line?
Yes, good morning, Gilbert and Dean Michael Berry.
Good
so
morning.
happy to hear you.
Well, how are you there, Miss Ernie?
I'm doing great, and I think this is a great show because I have two of my son's dear friends there at your law school, Cameron Allo and Michael. Oh, they're just so happy to be there. And Michael Streichman was looking forward to going there for years. He came over from UT.
Hold on 1 second. Stay there, because we had a question that popped up on the screen. Where did that go? Can you go back on the screen? Any grants available for Latino students from Lily Marin?
We do have some scholarships that are available, yes.
So Lily Marin, the answer is yes. Go back there, Ernie. Let's go back to Ernie.
So that's great. You have two students. I love it.
And also my cousin is a graduate, so I think I'm going to send him your link because he's doing very successful in his law firm. His name is Daniel Castaneda. And every time I hear about your school, I'm always so proud because he worked hard to be there. And I always tell people the success that Houston is having by having such a prestigious law school that is so diverse. So I appreciate you being here today. And
tell him I'll take 10%.
The dean will take 10% for life, of course. That's every year. No, I really mean it. He'll take. I mean, listen, we're here. We'll take anything because this is for a good cause, Ernie. I really mean
I'm definitely going to tell him.
Well, thank you. And to make sure that they know as well, Thursday, we are celebrating the centennial at 9 a.m. at our facility at 1303. And we would love to have you and them join us.
Oh, so you're going to have something at the school?
Coming.
Yes.
Okay, well, Ernie, let's hear this. So what's at the school? So at 9 a.m.?
So 9 a.m. on Thursday, we're going to celebrate the actual 100th anniversary of the school. So we will have everybody from Chief Justice Nathan Hecht of the Texas Supreme Court.
Is he a graduate?
He is not, but he's coming down to celebrate the
wonderful.
School. Mayor Sylvester Turner is going to be there. We will have the representative Sheila Jackson Lee will be there.
Wonderful.
We'll have videos from our senators all celebrating, and then I will be doing a presentation of the history and future of the school, multimedia presentation talking about everything we've accomplished and all that's in front of us.
Are there pictures about like what it was like 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 25 years ago?
There are. Yes.
Boy, what a treasure. I hope you put that on the website after. It's already on?
It is. It's at stcl.edu/centennial.
Can you hit that up? STC, I can't even say that. STCLL slash
stcl
STCL
dot edu /centennial.
And then come back to see if we can hit that link. So, Ernie, did you hear that? It's going to be Thursday at 9 a.m., I guess, in the
Joe Green Auditorium.
In the Joe Green Auditorium.
I'm looking forward to it. I plan to be there, and I'm so proud of all the work that you're doing. And
Thank
I'm
you so
proud that
much.
Gilbert is communicating it.
Thank you. I'm proud to be
all.
there.
Thank you, Ernie. Thank you
Have
for
a great
calling
day.
in. Ernie calls in now and then. She's always got great things to say and add. Yes,
Great.
all the time. So let's see if there's something about pictures in there. I can't quite see pictures, but we'll figure it out. It is Houston's oldest law school. Digital collections, maybe? Go to see that click where it says digital collections. No, see digital.
Up at the top. Okay.
Oh, sorry. She knows. See, why am I telling her anything when she knows everything? The staff is here and they're saying, no, Gilbert, no. Here you go. Oh, wow. I don't know all this stuff, but it just looks so rich with all kinds of stuff. Yearbooks. Oh my God, they got yearbooks, Houston. They got yearbooks all the way back to 1923. Oh my God.
Yeah, so we have a wonderful historian, Heather Kushnerick, who has been collecting things forever. And then Pamela Gibbs-Smith has been doing great work with us as well to help pull all this stuff together for the Centennial. So it's a great team of people who've done awesome work.
Wow. And so let's go back for a second. The YMCA, isn't that kind of strange to start a school with the YMCA, or is that how
Not
it was?
Back then. So in the 1910s and 20s, the YMCA created professional schools in things like accountancy, in law, so that
All over the country?
all over the country. So people who were working could get the degree at night. And there are still a number of schools, law schools across the country, who hail back to the YMCA.
Wow.
days.
Now, the YMCA is not engaged now with the
No,
school.
we separated in the 1960s.
Okay. And they probably felt like you feel when your child grows up and they go on their own. You thought, we launched you and now you're on your own.
It is very much like a parent saying, we have done everything that we should do for you, and now go and do as you can.
And now go forth. Just go west, young man, young lady. Go west. How wonderful. Well, did you ever think when you were, young Michael Berry? So take us back to young Michael Berry. When you were young, did you ever think, I'm going to just, I'm going to be dean of a law school someday?
My career path has been a lot about saying yes when God has opened up doors. So
Interesting.
I went out to Phoenix, Arizona, expecting I was going to be in a law firm for the rest of my life. 6 months after I joined the law firm had a financial dispute among the partners and split up. So all of a sudden, I did not have a job.
Wow.
So my life plan was now, okay.
Interrupted.
What is plan B? And I ended up taking various different positions. I continued in private practice for a while, then went in-house at a company called Capital One. That led me to a job at USAA in San Antonio. And then that led to the position at St. Mary's. So
how incredible. So let me ask you this. How did you make the transition from the business world? Because you were obviously were you an attorney at these companies?
I was an attorney at USAA, and then I went to the business side for a couple of years.
Okay, so you were a business person with a law degree, and but when did you go into academia then?
That was in 2015.
That's not that long ago.
It wasn't. I left USAA, and with the understanding that I wanted to do something that was giving back to the community. And education is the key that opens up doors. It changes the cycle of poverty. It makes opportunity available to individuals.
Amen.
So I wanted to be part of education.
Hold that thought. Don't leave me. Michelle, is there a Michelle on the line?
There is a Michelle on the line, and I just wanted to let you know about the Gift Day link.
Oh, tell us, Michelle.
It is stcl.edu.
Okay, do we have it there? Is that it right there? Is that the website there, guys?
Okay. stcl.edu/giveday.
Okay, so
very simple.
Okay, so I think I see it. Make a donation, give this day.
You can do it that way, but if you go straight to stcl.edu/giveday, it'll take you to the special challenge that we have for the centennial.
Oh, where's the special challenge? Did y'all follow that, guys? How do we get to the special challenge? We're going to go there real quick. Don't leave me, Michelle. You know what? My sister's name, Michelle, and her favorite song was, even though she was young, was that Michelle,
The Beatles.
my bell. Right, you know that song? And then it goes into French. And nobody knows what he says there, right?
It.
Yeah. So let's figure this out. I want to do it right now. So do you know their is this the special
I'll
one?
tell you the address again,
Okay.
stcl.edu.
Okay, hold on.
And then a
stcl.edu/.
GIVEDAY, Give Day.
All right. And I see make a donation this Give Day. Gift informational, personal information.
Yeah, it should bring up a beautiful graph that shows Give Day.
Well, and then so
you know what? If you go to that page you're on, it will be lovely, and that will take you to our advancement program, and you'll be able to give to it. That will work just great.
Okay, stay with me. We are now. Well, at the end of the day, let's fill that out. I'm going to my firm is going to make a $500 contribution right now to get this thing started.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just out of desire to do the right thing, as they say. Remember that movie, Do the Right Thing, with Spike Lee goes. Remember, always do the right thing. He goes, that's it. I got it. I'm gone. Here we go, Mr. Producer. Right. I'm going to toss this to you. Ready? I didn't go all the way. So this is from Garcia Hamilton and Associates, and none of us went to law school, but
it's doing right by our community.
It is. That is the key.
Thank you.
So you guys figure that out, will you?
I'll give you a quick story on that very movie. When I was at UVA, I was the projectionist for our on-campus movie theater, and we had a film festival. And one of the guests was Spike Lee.
No.
So he was going to talk about Do the Right Thing. And they needed a place to stash him while the movie was playing. So they put him up in the projection booth with me. So I hung out.
And you got to hang out with Spike Lee?
Watching him watch his movie.
Wow. So, how hilarious.
Yes.
That had to be a wonderful thing.
For my, I was about 20 years old at the time. That was a pretty good experience.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you one then. So recently, my wife and I went to New York because we're involved with the play New York, New York.
Yes.
That's a new play with Candor and of course Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes.
And so it was preview night, and for whatever reason, because we're one of the co-producers, my wife and I, we got better seats than Lin-Manuel, and we're friendly with him. And so the whole time, after each song, my wife would turn, stare, and look at Lin-Manuel and try to get his reaction to the song and this and that. And the grand opening is at the end of the month, so we're going to the grand opening. Whatever it's called, grand opening, opening night, like the producers, opening night. Remember that song?
Oh, yes.
Anyway, so it was kind of cool. So I know exactly the feeling. How wonderful,
so
Michelle.
If you want to ask him to come down to an event at the school, we could do that for diversity.
He came to my house, and we had a fundraiser thing. He came to my house, and he's just the nicest guy. Great guy. So, Michelle, I don't know if you're on anymore, but we got it. So thank you. And by the way, you can call in to learn more about the school and what's going on at 832-570-8075. I just kicked it off with $500. So let's get there. The goal is 100,000, and we got to do it by Thursday, you guys. So we cannot miss it. Why? Because every community needs solid education institutions. And that means everything from undergrad to grad and all disciplines. And that, of course, includes law. Why law? Because number one, that is the very foundation to have a successful business community, because you need lawyers to do transactions. You need lawyers to be in the courts to administer justice. You just need lawyers because they're all around good folks, because they get an overall background on everything.
And after we take this call from Jason, let's talk about some of the service that the school does in our community that helps people in need as well.
How great is that? We haven't even, I'm going to make a note to okay, so we have two things. The next 100 years, and I'm just going to say service in the community. I want to make sure I don't forget that. Who do we have? I know we have another caller there. Is there a Jason on the line?
Yes, how are you doing today, Gilbert and Mr. Berry?
Jason, I'm doing well. This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, Talk Inspiration and Prayer. I'm here having a great time with my new good friend, Dr. Michael Berry. Mr. Michael, is it a doctor?
It is not a doctor.
Not a doctor, Mr. Michael Berry. But when people like me just call everyone, hey, doctor. Jason, what do you got for us?
Yes, I've been listening to you guys talking. One of the things that kind of concerned me listening was the statistics regarding, minorities and that are lawyers nationwide, and the 5% of African Americans, 5% of Latino, and 2% of Asian Americans just seems so ridiculously low compared to the population size of each of those communities. And when you think about it, lawyers, not only do they just help normal people, but they also are the ones that are writing into these different laws, and they're also the ones that are going to be becoming judges and basically presiding over all the different rules and regulations. And if we don't have any sort of representation, how are we able to get them to represent us when drafting these laws and drafting all this legislation? So my question, I guess, to you, Mr. Berry, is South Texas College of Law has done so well in enhancing the minority communities and bringing them into law practices, but what else do we think we can be done, especially at the larger schools like the University of Texas and those law schools where they're pumping out about 800 lawyers per year? That's quite a bit compared to South Texas, and even you mentioned Yale only had maybe 150, 170 per year. So I guess what else can be done to get some of these kids from high school to college into the law school and try to break through some of those barriers, especially on with the how much it costs to become a lawyer.
Jason, you are a learned man. Wonderful, wonderful thoughts and reflection. What do you say there?
That's a great
Mr. Berry?
question.
Yeah, what do you
Jason.
say there?
And I think part of the issue that we have to address is we have to start earlier in the process. There are many studies that indicate that a good number of people from minority communities never identify themselves with the possibility of being in law. They don't even see it as a potential. So what we're trying to do is actually bring it back through, not even into college, but even into high school and before, to make sure that people recognize that this is an opportunity for you. But to do that, then there's some things that you need to do. You need to actually go to college. You need to get some good grades while you're in college. You need to be part of activities, and there needs to be mentorship. So making sure that there are these pipeline programs with institutions so that more and more people are available to come to law school. And I think one of the things that we are seeing is in this society now, more and more people are recognizing that the world will change when there is more representation. So I think social media and other influences are going to make this more likely that individuals will come.
Well, I think, in my view, it also, young people need to realize, look at that. I just got to thank you. I got to thank you from the South Texas Fund. There we go. Well, you know what? South Texas, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think one of the things is, the young people need to recognize how important it is to be prepared. So they don't wake up one day and it's senior year and they're applying and they don't have the scores or they don't have that they got to think about this sort of early, as you said, and really, get good grades. It's competitive to get into law school, any law school, really.
It is.
Especially South Texas. It's competitive.
It is. And there needs, this is where the community plays a role. This is where churches play a role. This is where community organizations, so that students who are coming up through high school, going into college, know that they have a support network, that there are people who care about them and who are pulling for them and are encouraging them to do well, so they are in a better position to be able to apply.
Because the reality is, it's not a Houston problem. It's a national problem. These statistics that Jason just reminded us of, it really is a national problem. And so it means almost, Jason, in my view, everyone needs to get together on this sort of thing.
And if you think about the work that Stephen Kleinberg has done with the Kinder Institute, Houston is ahead of the rest of the country when it comes to a diverse population. So if Houston can get it right, that can be a model for what the rest of the country will face over the next 30 years.
I had Dr. Kleinberg 3 or 4 weeks ago. The guy's just a treasure. But so are you, and so is South Texas. So you're in good company, or he's in good company with you.
I'm glad to be mentioned in the same sentence with him.
Well, amen. Jason, what else you got for us?
No, that's about it. I think he hit the nail on the head talking about people don't identify, because the lawyers that I know, their father or mothers were either lawyers or someone else in their family. So I think it's also being, one thing is to be seen within the community that this is something that you can actually attain later in life. But again, it has to start with school, because being a lawyer is hard. It takes a lot of education, a lot of patience, and a lot of drive. So we've got to get those things first before we can move forward.
Amen to that. Jason, thank you for joining us on the show, and I hope you call in again another time someday.
Thank you.
A law degree is a great foundation for really just about anything.
It is.
Just anything. It teaches you somehow how to think, how to process information, how to express yourself. Of course, it teaches you the law, which is helpful in just about everything and anything. So I think it's wonderful. Let's go back to something. So I want to know more about, so we talked about the Titans and all those things. We talked about there's all the students there. What are some of the things the students are doing to help in the community? I don't know whether it's legal aid or what, but what are they doing?
So we have a program at South Texas, a clinical program, the Randy O. Sorrells Clinic Program, which has about 20 different clinics. A clinic is where a student working under the supervision of a licensed attorney represents real people with real legal problems.
Come on, how wonderful.
So that they get practical experience, but it also allows us to serve those people who cannot get service. There is a study that came out recently that indicated that some 90+% of people who needed help on civil legal matters could not get assistance because they couldn't afford it or they didn't know an attorney.
Wow.
And that is particularly predominant in downtown Houston. So each year we provide some $3.5 million worth of legal assistance to those who otherwise would not be represented.
No kidding.
And during the pandemic, one example of that is working with Constable Precinct 1 and some other organizations. We were able to help some 5,000 people stay in their homes during the pandemic by helping them with the moratorium from the CDC or getting rental assistance.
So just for them to get what was their right as a citizen, but they have no way to know how to do it.
They don't know how to fill out the paperwork.
Yeah,
they don't know what their processes they needed to do to get to the paperwork to the landlord the right way.
What a great feeling for those young kids to just come away thinking, I just saved somebody their home.
And particularly during the pandemic, when the alternative was going to live with somebody else, which had risks, or living on the street.
Wow. What a great thing. I'm not done with that topic if you don't mind.
Please.
Because I think that's a great, great topic. We have Alejandro on the line. Alejandro.
Hello.
Yes, sir. What do you got for us, Mr. Alejandro? Yeah, me, Gilbert Garcia, a tip from Gilbert, Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer.
Good morning, Gilbert. Good morning, Mr. Barry. I was just listening to your show and got to thinking of somewhat of a philosophical question. Barry, Mr. Barry, how do you, as a man of faith, handle the cognitive dissonance, or teach your students to deal with the cognitive dissonance you might experience when defending someone you might disagree with morally on a certain case? Just something that I kind of have been wondering about.
That's a great question and a very philosophical one, Alejandro. I love it. The identity, creating a professional identity as an attorney is crucially important, knowing the values that you have and the integrity that you must maintain. We also recognize that when you become an attorney, you take an oath, and you take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, as well as of Texas, and to uphold the rule of law. In our system of justice, that means that we need to make sure that there is an adversarial system and that individuals have zealous representation. So that, for instance, if you are representing somebody who is accused of a crime, it may not be that you agree with the individual. You certainly don't want to agree with the actions that they may have done. But our system of justice requires that we force the prosecutors to actually present a case beyond a reasonable doubt to ensure that the individual has done the crime before we take away life or liberty from them. So it is recognizing that we are part of a larger system, and that if we abandon that system, then we abandon what has made this country great for 250 years.
And remember, Alejandro, everyone deserves representation. Everyone, no matter what they did. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Everyone deserves representation. And even within the realm, it seems to me, of, I don't know the right word, but if you're guilty in the sentencing, it's always, if you have a good lawyer, that somehow you can get a lesser sentence. I mean, I don't know those things, but when you look at the math, those that don't have good representation are the ones that somehow suffer the consequence. And so everyone deserves good representation, period. That's just me as a citizen. So if you go ahead.
And I'll just say one thing more about that is, but again, in the criminal justice system, one of the things that we want to make sure is that those who are enforcing the laws, the police officers who are investigating the cases, et cetera, they're doing it the right way.
That's right.
And by providing that defense, you ensure that there is a system to ensure that make sure that they are doing it correctly. And that protects all of us.
So
Gotcha.
what do you think, Alejandro?
No, it sounds to me like the overall greater good is ensuring a fair judicial system or due diligence, and that seems to be what kind of drives, especially someone who's dedicating their life to the judicial system. That's what drives them to just do the overall right thing, if I'm understanding y'all correctly.
And there are times where individuals will say that in a civil matter, for instance, they do not want to represent somebody because of a moral issue. And in a civil matter, that is something that they have the right to do.
Did you see the movie, Alejandro, 12 Angry Men? Of course, there's two versions, the modern version and the original one with Henry Fonda. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't actually, but I'm writing it down.
You need to see the original one with Henry Fonda, and I forgot all that. They're all famous actors. You just don't recall them right now. And it's about some sort, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't know for sure. Young boy or young man did some sort of crime, and so they get the angry men, and they're the jury. And they're not angry, but they're the jury. And it's interesting how everyone has their own sort of desires. And somebody wanted to go to a baseball game, so he wanted to hurry up and get out. Somebody else had something with his own son, and he was mad at the son, and so he just automatically assumed the guy's guilty. And then Henry Fonda, when they were doing the vote, after 10 seconds, I don't remember, 2 minutes of deliberation, everyone just said, guilty, guilty, guilty. And Henry Fonda said, not guilty. And they're like, what? How come he's not guilty? He said, I just think a man's life deserves more than 5 minutes. And then they started going on and on and on and on. And then they go, I want another vote. So then they had another vote. And then all of a sudden the vote is 10-2. And the guy goes, who else voted no? And there's this little bitty guy. He goes, well, I voted no. Why did you vote no? Well, because if he's so willing to vote no, I feel he needs some support. And all of a sudden, Alejandro, they go through it all. And as they go through the different potential evidence and everyone starts, going into their own lives and their biases come out, at the end of the day, after hours of deliberating, they find him not guilty. One of the most incredible movies. Wow. Is it like that? I mean, I've never been on a jury. Now, I've been jury duty, and they say, okay, thank you for coming, but I've never been on a jury.
Nor have I.
Oh, you haven't either?
They typically strike the attorneys because they're worried about what they'll do. But I have worked, when I worked for the judge, I'd worked with the jurors. Okay. Never was in the deliberations. But the jury system is an amazing way of bringing citizens in and allowing those biases that you just identified to come out and to be addressed and to reach a result that is more often than not a fair system.
I think people really take it, I don't know, this sounds cliche, take that position, being a jury, seriously. I think people really, for whatever may be going on in their life and whatever they may have been brought up, but when they're in there, I think they really take it seriously. And I think a lot of them can, I don't know if the right word, sympathize or empathize with what's happening to that person. And, yes. It may not be perfect, but it's the best we got on earth.
Well,
right? I mean, really.
It's kind of like what was said about democracy by Churchill, that it's the worst system of ruling a country except for all the others that have been tried.
Yeah, there you go. It really is, Alejandro, the best there is. And yes, it can be messy, and yes, it can be just like democracy can be excruciatingly painful and messy, but it is the best system. Alejandro, what else do you got, my friend?
That's about it. Thank you so much for taking my call, and I look forward to our next episode.
Be well.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Let's go back. So imagine these young people, and they're just students, and then they're working with these people that are about to lose their homes and these things, and they fill out the paperwork, and then they're told they just got them rent for a year. I mean, what a great feeling.
It is a great.
What a
and
great
we do
feeling.
things, we have services that help individuals in domestic violence situations, immigration, military. And one example of that recently is there was a gentleman that we represented over a number of years who was dishonorably discharged and accused of leaving his post. Well, it turned out there were mental health issues involved. After a long series of arguments, we were able to assist him in being reclassified, getting benefits for him. But also as part of that, because he was dishonorably discharged, he lost medals. So when he was then his reclassified, he received his medals back. And for those who have served in the military, that's an important thing. And our students and our faculty and staff were able to participate and help this individual with this situation.
And as the dean and president, do you keep a finger on the pulse of these things? Because what a great feeling for you.
I do.
To know these are your, I mean, I know you don't say your kids, but they're your kids.
This is it's the work that we do. And service is another one of those hallmarks of our mission. And being part of this community is vital to us. So this allows us to represent those of us who are lesser in need, or who have greater needs but have lesser means.
Yep.
And it's important for us to be able to do this. The Texas Access to Justice Foundation gives an award for service to law schools every year. They've given it out for 11 years. We have won it 4 times.
Come on.
There are 10 law schools in the state, and we've won it 4 times because we are so committed to trying to make the world a bit better.
You know what? This is going to sound, I don't know the right way, but either way, I can't help it. We need to get that story out more.
That's why I'm here.
People need to know, because I don't think people know that South Texas, first of all, is right here. You know, it's like I can almost like throw a baseball at it from my office here. It's right here in downtown. And it's been around 100 years, and it had already been diverse with women from day one. And they allow people that want to have a second career and all want to change their life. You know, they're welcome. And you do all these things that get these incredible moot court awards against some of the best law schools in the world. And then you're doing this, I don't know if it's the right word, but philanthropic work. And you're getting those awards against some of the bigger schools. That story needs to be told.
We agree.
Houston Chronicle, we didn't write about this. I hope they write about the 100th anniversary.
We are trying. Anything you can do to help. We want to make sure that people know that this is in our community and we are here for Houston, and we're using this centennial celebration and these opportunities to help make sure that more people do know about the school and the work we do, because we are not for profit.
Yeah.
This is not a for-profit school. We are a not-for-profit. We stand alone. So we don't have a football team or a basketball team to help market us. It truly is the work that we do with our attorneys.
And because you're private, let's make this distinction. And I'm asking, this is not telling. You don't get any government statewide funds?
We're not part of the system that
gets the statewide.
System. No. So we don't have the oil revenue, for instance, that UT has.
Wow. That you would think
if anybody wants to give me an oil I'll take that
you would
too.
think normally that would put you at such a disadvantage, but here you are, whether it's a disadvantage or not, whooping them in all these incredible things. Is whooping a word over there, producer? You're shaking, yes, no. But you're doing great.
But I think the reason that it is that we're able to do this is because we have a faculty and a staff that is committed to our students. They're committed to the mission. They're committed to making sure that we are providing our students with the best education. So one of the other hallmarks we have is excellence. And we want to make sure that our students are prepared for the real world. It's not just theoretical knowledge.
Right.
It is, this is what you do. Because when our students graduate, they need to be ready day one.
So now here's the hard question.
Yes.
You're going to look at, and Alejandro, if you signed off, thank you for those wonderful calls. You are now looking forward. We're now looking at the future. 100 years from now, because I'm sure in 1923 when they started with the YMCA and we saw those wonderful, glorious yearbooks, they never dreamed that their students would be helping citizens like this. They never dreamed that y'all would be preparing for these trials. I mean, they never dreamed any of that. How could they? So what are we missing? Not what are we missing? What do you think 100 years from now, what will the school be doing? Will it be bigger? Will it be smaller? Will it be just in general? What are your thoughts?
Think about what has changed in the last 100 years, Gilbert.
I mean, you can't even
Everything
predict.
from
Yeah.
TV to space travel.
We went
to
from horses
iPhones.
or trolley cars to now to driverless cars. You know, I mean, yeah, that's right. Who
Exactly.
knows?
So I think the thing that we will definitely have to anticipate is technology is going to change so much of what we do. And technology then also creates concerns about privacy and data and all of that. What we need to ensure that our graduates are able to do in this new, more technological world is solve problems and assist people.
Do you think the school will be bigger, smaller? I mean, is there any planned desire, or you
at
think you
this
got to?
point, we think we're about that sweet spot.
Yeah.
One of the things that we are doing, though, this year will have our first class of individuals who will be attending school online. So
Very interesting.
So if you look across Texas, if you happen to live in Houston, where we're fortunate to have 3 law schools, or San Antonio that has 1, or DFW that has a couple, great. But if you live in Brownsville or El Paso or in Midland or any of these other places, there is no law school. So if you want to maintain your family, maintain your job, stay in your church community, you can't go to law school. So we have created a program that was approved by the American Bar Association that allows us to offer an online degree for those individuals. So they'll come to school once a year for a week, and then the rest of their work will be done virtually.
Wow. And so when you say we have 250 students, none of those are the online.
It's not counting those.
So the online is
That
totally,
will be,
wow.
and we don't want that to be a huge program,
That's
but
right.
we want to make sure that there is an access to justice gap in our state.
Right.
And this will help alleviate some of the dearth of attorneys that exist in some parts of the state.
That is amazing. Well, let me ask you this. Is there somebody who gets in a room every year and says, what's new right now? And therefore, let's change the curriculum a little bit. I mean, I'm just making this up because of my business. Like cryptocurrency is now like a new thing. Somebody's saying, God, cryptocurrency is becoming a big thing. We should start a whole class on it so people can be prepared, because it's probably going to be a new thing. Is there someone that's looking at the curriculum?
We do. We have a committee of faculty members who are constantly looking and identifying how do we make sure that our students are better prepared. So they add new classes on a regular basis to ensure that we're ahead of the game. Very, very good. Well, it's one of those things where, did you ever see the Carol Burnett show? Of course. Okay, Carol Burnett. I would pull my ear if I could. There you go. And or do the Tarzan yell she would do. I can't do it, but she could do it great. What I was going to say. Pound your chest. That's exactly right. But there was a song at the end when it's like, I'm so glad we had this time together, just to have a laugh and sing. And just before you know it, when we just got started, comes a time we have to say, so it's been an hour. It has. I've been truly appreciated it. It just like flew. This is a great conversation. Oh, well, what we're going to do is we're going to hear God Only Knows. And in a moment, I'm going to give you the last word, whatever that is. And then when we turn off on the radio, we're going to be on social media for about another 2 minutes, and you're going to look right in that camera, that one, and you're going to just tell Houston anything else you want to tell, or just repeat again. Very good. It's been a joy to have you. I appreciate it. You've been wonderful. I think you're a treasure for the university. I really mean it, and you can just feel it in you. And I bet you the students enjoy you too. I just have that feeling, and the faculty, and we certainly need South Texas. Yes, we do. And so I'm so glad you're doing this thing on Thursday. I'm going to check my calendar to see if I can make it. And please come again. Let us know how it's doing. So you've got the last few minutes here. What do you want to say to Houston about the whole centennial, about your love for it, and where we're going? 2 things. Number 1 is please come on Thursday, go to stcl.edu/centennial. And the second is please learn more about the school and be a part of us. We want to be part of this community. This has been an institution for 100 years, and we're here for the next 100 as well, as part of this city of Houston. Thank you for the opportunity to spend time with you today. Oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful. All right, Houston, we're going to play the song to the end. I think we got 1 more minute. I see the finger up. That's what they tell me when I'm at 1 minute. Houston, you got me. Gilbert Garcia, tip from Gilbert. Talk Inspiration and Prayer. I want to thank again KWWJ. Keep walking with Jesus. KYOK, the legendary KYOK. KCOH, the source.
Aliento Radio and San Geet Radio. You know we're here every Monday, 11 to 12, and you can call in 832-570-8075. We just enjoyed our president and dean, Michael Berry of South Texas College of Law, Houston, where they're doing a lot of great things. Support them. You know what? That's what we need in this community. We got to keep supporting those institutions that make our city and community better. You heard it here first. And we'll see you next time. All right, we're now off in social media. I know you're still on. We're just going to give another minute or two here for Mr. Berry. So first of all, it's Thursday, 9 a.m. It's going to be a big shindig. You got the Supreme Court coming down. You got the mayor. You got everybody coming down. You got the congresswoman. Mr. Berry's going to talk about the whole school. He's going to have a great slideshow showing some of the history of the school. The school is award-winning both for its social services as well as for its trial prep programs. It's really incredible. 250, 260 kids, right size, not, what was it, porridge? Not too hot, not too cold. Well, not too big, not too small. It's perfect. And again, they're starting something pretty cool, which is online. So that's something I know they're very proud of. And so please give. It's on Thursday. We got a challenge. I set the tone, just gave $500. We're trying to raise $100,000 for Thursday. It's called Giving Thursday.
Give Thursday.
Give Thursday. And there you see it right now on my website there on my show. You can see it right now. It's the 100 challenge. So, Mr. Berry, I'm just going to let you have the last word. You're going to talk to the camera. Let Houston know, number one, I'm so glad you're in Houston, and we hope you're here a long time. Number two, thank you for the great work that you do to shape the minds of these young professionals as they go out on this journey of getting their law degree and what that might mean for their lives, the betterment of their lives, and the betterment of society. So anything you want to say?
Thank you, Houston, for being a part of the South Texas community for the last 100 years. We are so proud of the work that we do, and we look forward to having you come down and see us. Join us this Thursday for this celebration, and please keep us in your prayers. Have a great day.
All right, Houston, this is Gilbert Andrew Garcia, now signing off on all our social media outlets. You know where you are. Thank you again. Call in all the time, and we'll see you next time. This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ. 1360 AM and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1230 AM, The Source. On San Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM. And Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.